I have Christmas Eve. I had a nice holiday actually. I'm wanting to think how I want to start this. First off, I got a tip for you guys. Uh, this was one of my fastest production engines. I'm going to start my criminal justice series by talking about these bikes and the legalities of them. Uh, we modify these. The creep was stalking me a little bit there on Facebook, Steve Main. It was one of the guys I don't want to thank. The people I do want to thank, I got some cards and letters, and I got a camera returned to me that I lost on a Charlie Delta base. Um, Almost 12, 13 years later to the day, it came back to me with some of my camera cards, so I hope to share some of that with you from my flying days. These studs break off in these engines. There's a cure. When you can't tap it, they make a helicoil kit. It's one of the fastest, easiest ways to repair one of these, and I use it with epoxy. I epoxy bed it with the JB Weld for whatever it's worth. Between the oil and the grease, the aluminum's very porous on these engines. Sometimes most of the times it works. There's sometimes when the engine, like this one, this engine died a hard death. Really, people ask how many miles do you get out of these bikes is one of my constant questions. I got one in there going over 1,000 miles, Dr. Evil. First of all, people, the dumbing down in part of my criminal justice series is the dumbing down of America. People don't own any tools. They lose their driver's license. They want to operate one of these bikes. They don't have any money to begin with to take care of it. So guys like Steve Main, they don't care about lasers, CNC parts, what we do to them. They just call them junk. People don't have the mentality for the things that we're capable of doing. But I get cards and letters from all over the country, even out of the country. I wanted to, will you get out, why are you always in my face whenever I turn on a camera? His name is Seamus Salt. I call him Scotty because he's from Scotland. Seamus, I wanted to thank you for the card and the Christmas and everything. Bill Komet, staying out, Althouse. I got a couple of loyal fans because what I tell them works. Unlike Steve Main, that stuff is this, you're that. Steve Main, I want to tell you something. You see the size of me? You want to square away with me out behind the barn? You're another jerk off that gets the invite. Criminals or not, you're a criminal to me. Okay, especially with your mouth and whatever. You show me pictures of production cars from some website and they're supposed to be your race car. My race car had my name on it, and I got a reputation on the tracks, and I got the news articles to prove it, Steve. So I don't know who the hell you think you are. People I do want to thank: Fred Chominski, Merry Christmas, Fred. Matt Bouzis from the Motor Works down in Bethlehem. Hey guys, Merry Christmas. I love you guys. I love your parts. I adore you guys. We have, right now, a lot of questions about the legalities of these motorized bicycles. This is a 49cc configurated engine, okay? 47 millimeter piston, 2 thousandths worth of rings, okay? It's about 49cc across centimeters. When you start porting these heads inside and you start opening them up, they have a limit. You can go out to about 88cc. Modifying the bottom of the piston is just as important as some guys want to put rings or a bigger piston. You can get a little more volumetrics in these engines. That's what we're about. Fred and I and a lot of the guys have figured out that there's a secret to it. And within that secret, there's also a limit, which gets me to the legalities of guys want to buy these bikes. They're drunks. They're alcoholics. They've got problems. So we're going to make this a continuing series. There's a lot wrong here in Pennsylvania. We used to have city councils. The laws used to be for the people and by the people. Now we have a bunch of political whores that have taken the laws out of this country. This is how everything is made in China and nothing's made here anymore. They made the law for the people making the law in the lawmakers. There's federal pedal assist laws for these bikes. These bikes fall under that category. They are not a motor vehicle. They are really not even a motorized vehicle, only in description. Motor vehicles have turn signals, they have titles, they have a certificate of manufacturer. Just like my bigger bikes, okay, they are a motorcycle. These are far from a motorcycle when you can pedal them around and puddle them around. And I always tell people, if it's posted in an area, there were certain parts of Louisiana and in the South and Florida where the motorized bicycles, it's specifically posted for those. There's also riding trails. I kind of ignore that. Being disabled with semi-disabilities, I don't want to be deprived of what other people can do just because of my disability. Okay, and I'm not going to ride one of those electric bikes and get stuck with it and have to push it how many miles when it peters out. My bikes, they stay together. They're for disabled people. I don't really target kids with them, despite my OCC choppers. Kids can enjoy those. But there are federal pedal assist laws that specifically cover these bikes. Damian Pierre, this video is for you. Okay? I can't help there's crooked cops. We have them here in Pennsylvania. We have tons of them. They come and go here in the state police and the local departments as fast as they are. And then there's the other ones that are the criminal elements that keep the laws from changing. It's why they've taken away from, we used to have city councils and citizens boards. We didn't have full-time juries, people that are picked by the overlords in the courthouse like we do today. Those people are setups, gangsters. Mostly the only cases that go to trial are the ones that are guilty. Those people get a trial. But there's a lot of people that get run over in between here, especially in Pennsylvania, that are innocent, get charged with something. They will never get to trial. They will delay it. They will keep the people in jail. They will do everything to discourage you. They even threaten you with the loaded jury because they're that corrupt. The people here in the criminal justice system in Pennsylvania are so morally corrupt, just like many other places. Chicago, California, their moral compasses are so fucked up they're 180 degrees out of whack. So we're going to keep this continuing series going. And before we have a civil war in this country, a lot of people, they may not like black people, they may not like this person. We're all human beings. We all deserve to be treated, except if you're a thug. You want to be treated different. That's how thugs get. They get what they deserve. But there's people in between. They're neither a thug. They get hassled by a cop just because of their skin color. We need to bring back grand juries, citizens' grand juries. Every county, every state needs to have a citizens' grand jury. You glad? Are you happy? You shook the camera. So anyway, my cats are really getting on my nerves. It's winter here. I just wanted to tell people that the federal pedal assist laws, everything seems to be perverted and corrupted when a cop gets a hold of it, and you never really seem to get justice in the courtrooms. These bikes are a nice, enjoyable hobby, and some of us build them. It's not a big dollar industry. We build them, we make a couple bucks on the side, we pay a bill with it usually. That's what I do. I have to buy all kinds of special tools, but I enjoy my hobby for myself, and I don't go wrecking around with the bike. I haven't been arrested on it, unlike Damian Pierre. I don't really know what Damian did. He just said this cop was involved in another incident with him, and the cops got a hard-on for him. Anybody that's had problems with these bikes, I want you to look on the internet for the federal pedal assist laws, okay? They're a 49cc configurated engine. No matter what you do to them, you did it, okay? And it should be noted that it's 49cc, it's on the bike, it's not a larger engine. Despite what you may have done to it, carburation or whatever, calibration, that does not count, okay? You can bore out a small block 350. Okay, you can put a bigger carburetor on it. You can put bigger pistons in it. You can port it. Brodix heads. I love the Stage 2 Brodix heads for the street and competition cam or a crane cam. Those engines really rock. They've always have. They were perfected technology. That's the way these engines are getting. They're getting powerful enough that they're getting a reputation and people are starting to like them. They buy a basic kit, they get their feet wet with it, then they're ready for something more advanced from, say, maybe me or Fred. There's a lot of other builders out there, engine builders, and a lot of them don't make themselves as visible as me and Fred Chelminsky do, but we have the better stuff. I use a lot of his parts. Matt gets a lot of the laser cut gaskets. I can buy them from Matt cheaper than it is for me to make them. I save a lot of my shop time. I just know where the better places are to go get the better parts, and I'm grateful to those people that stuff is available like it is. They prostituted our country out of knowledge, and the dumber the people get that they can't defend themselves, it's becoming a real problem that you're defenseless when you walk in a courtroom. You don't get the justice that you deserve. Damien's worried. He's sweating getting arrested on this bicycle. He's got bills to pay. I evidently, his boss must have died. Damien, I'm very sorry. I really am. I'm deeply saddened. I know I'm getting older. I may not be around tomorrow, the next day. We all got our health problems like I do now. But what we don't need is these political perverts in our faces, in our courtrooms. We have a lot of the magistrates here. They've been here forever. They're corrupt. They run 2 sets of books. They don't respect the public that comes before them and the public's problems. The only thing that they're out for is a for-profit policing. They'll confiscate property. They'll do anything they can. Instead of respecting your position and helping you, they'll do anything to make themselves a buck off of you. They don't care how sad it gets. It's like the mafia. Oh, your house burned down. Fuck you. Pay me. Oh, your wife died. Fuck you. Pay me. Oh, you got in an automobile accident. You know, reminds me of the, what was that? Goodfellas, you know? It's becoming a mafia. It's becoming a criminal enterprise itself, and it's about time we start forming citizen grand juries in each and every state and each and every county to keep the law for the people and by the people. If you're a criminal, it evidently comes out, but if the truth never gets to come out about what happened or how it happened and when it happened, that's not America. That's a communist state, and that's why they were in Washington working hard all these years to take these privileges away from us. Our rights, our Constitution, our right for free speech. Democrats, if they kept going, we were going to lose a lot more rights. The Second Amendment, I'm pro-Second Amendment. If everybody carried a gun, the world would be a lot more civil place, and we wouldn't have terrorists running around bombing churches and bus stations. The problem is our law enforcement, they seem to be familiar with these people. They were being watched. They know who they are, but yet they go out and perpetrate the most heinous crime. You go out and threaten one of these political monkeys because they're a jackass and a criminal, they're banging, knocking your goddamn door down. I don't know what the hell's going on in this country, but people need to start getting a handle on it. I'm not going to take much more myself. I've got a situation myself. Criminal Justice Series is on. You can look for it on Facebook and YouTube. I don't know. Somebody's got to tell me how to title these videos so I can be a little more visible. I want to start going on where there's political stuff going on, because this is true life. None of it's made up. Most of it's factual. So, Damien, I did make a call to your lawyer. Nobody's called me back on your behalf. Anybody that's having problems with these bikes and where they're allowed to ride them and whatever, the A2Ds, and I believe it might be the A4D, there's pedal assist laws. It's not a manufactured vehicle, so it's exempt to laws. Now, if you're riding it someplace where you're not supposed to, or you've been told not to ride it there, there's all kinds of other citations you could get. But there's nothing illegal about the bikes. They don't need to be titled, registered, whatever. I've checked, you can't even buy insurance for these bikes, the motorized bicycles. Your homeowners or your renter's insurance, and I don't know if they cover accidental or consequential loss. It's very vague to me, and the more I explore it, the more confusing it gets. One minute I get an answer, well, you can put it on your homeowner's insurance. Well, was that for fire and theft? Yes. Was that for liability? They don't even know. If you can't get registration and insurance for it because it's not a motor vehicle, it's not a motor vehicle, okay? You might be able to register it, and then they're going to ask you to get insurance. It's not an ATV. It's a home-built, home-crafted vehicle. I don't even call it a vehicle. I call it what it is. It's a bicycle with a motor on it. So these political perversions that are coming out, we need to start forming in, grand juries ourselves as citizens and start taking our counties and our states back. Pennsylvania, we've got the most bloated legislature, the most pile of useless monkey tits in Harrisburg. They are all a bunch of manure. And it's getting like that in most states. Your politicians are not working for you. They're working to fill their pockets with your money. And they're working at other avenues, upping the cigarette tax, upping the beer tax, the gas tax, the driver's license registration, tax, 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 tax. Guy walks off the banana boat, he gets it all for free. That's bullshit too. Work for yourself. I had to take a drink. I'm very angry at some of the things that are going on and some of the things that I'm hearing. Next subject title is we got a criminal here locally in law enforcement, and I want people, anybody out there that could probably help me. You're a lawyer, you want to talk to me. We have civil rights. Civil rights lawyers want to charge thousands and thousands of dollars we can't afford. Listen up, folks. We're just normal people, and most of us, we're either part-time employed, underemployed, or half-assed employed. There's no in-between anymore here in Pennsylvania. If you're a cop, lawyer, or a judge or somebody, you're doing just fine. The rest of the people out here, they're not doing just fine. Not when everything's still going up, food, everything else. Taxes, they just upped the taxes here again. People are paying enough, and they just want to keep us paying more. Somewhere, somebody's got to jump in on things, and they got to start listening to people. When you start listening to the people, things will improve. Until then, I'm going to talk to you about what happens next. We're going to go after somebody here who's a bit of a political law enforcement pervert, real hypocrite. And I'll show you the mathematics of it. I have to get the paperwork out, and I have to find out the other two individuals. They can possibly help me with it. So thanks for paying attention, and I'll post this to YouTube and Facebook. I have to see how the video looks to me.